You guys, I've been keeping a little secret for over a year and a half now, but today I can finally announce that my collab with Buffbunny called No Filter is coming out on Saturday, April 6th, and I am so excited for you guys to finally see what I've been working on for so long. I just have a couple little samples behind me. I don't have my full range yet. That will be coming when I do my full review, which should be up about a week before the launch, but I wanted to get this up as soon as possible for you guys because I know you're gonna have questions. In this video, I'm gonna take you behind the scenes of every time I had to go out to work on this, my thought process, my ideas, testing out the samples, just everything that I didn't want to include in my review because I just felt like it was going to be too much because my last Buffbunny review was an hour and a half. So this one may also be very long, but I figured we could just do an entire video on all the details of the collab. So I've gotten offers to collaborate with other brands, but you know I'm so picky about activewear in general. If it's something that's going to have my name associated with it, I wanted to pick a brand that I knew was not gonna flop on me. I know Buffbunny always gets it right. Their quality is always there. And I've been working with Buffbunny Collection for 5 years now, so we know each other at this point. There's an established relationship. I really respect the team. So I just knew this was going to be good. And guys, you were gonna be so excited. Buffbunny's been in a little bit of a sad beige era lately. A lot of neutrals, which, listen, I love a good neutral, but we're bringing in the color with this launch, and I'm just so excited. Buffbunny as a brand also focuses on inclusivity, high quality pieces, and they also have really big launches. A lot of brands will only launch like 2 sports bras, a couple leggings, but I knew if I did a collection, I would want to have a lot of pieces. I don't even have everything that I wanted. Like this collection could be double the size, but there are limits. But still, we have so many items that appeal to different heights, body shapes, coverage options, and I just really wanted all of that because, you know, as a tall girly, I feel like height is often forgotten about with inclusivity, and several of the pieces in my launch do have multiple length options. I'm not just talking about leggings. My dress has a short and a regular. I have a top that comes in a more cropped version and a longer version if you don't want to have as much skin showing. Little things like that I wanted to prioritize. So I would love to know if any of you guys saw this coming because I was very zipped up, closed off about this. I've been working on this since July 2022 when I was still in the thick of dental school. Like, I'm just so glad that they worked with me through that and worked with my schedule because there's a lot of work going into this. I will go over the timeline of everything as well as sharing all the behind the scenes of the shoot, but first I just wanted to have a little chat about the launch. So like I said, very springy, fun colors. I knew that I wanted my launch to be a springtime launch because those are the colors that appeal to me most. I love brights and pastels. It was definitely a collaborative effort. I am not an activewear designer. I had ideas that I brought in, but the Buffbunny design team worked so hard in bringing my ideas to life, but also bringing in some of their own ideas and asking me what I thought about them. And it just kind of worked out that way. And of course, this is definitely my favorite Buffbunny launch so far, but there will still be critiques. So a review is still coming. Nothing is ever fully perfect. This is my first time doing a collab with a brand. Honestly, there were a good amount of pieces that I got to try and fine tune to my liking, but I did not get to try every single piece between when we had the idea until the end. So I didn't really get some of the fine tuning stages like, oh, this needs a little bit more of this needs a little bit more of this that I would have wanted. So we will still see some comments in my review, but just because it's not something that is a perfect fit for me doesn't mean it won't fit another body type. I can still wear every piece, but you know what I'm saying. We also lost a lot of pieces due to them either being too expensive in the end or just not working out design-wise. Like when I look at our initial idea sheet, our initial line sheet, it was like twice the size of this. And every time we talked, more and more things would fall off. Luckily, my favorite things definitely did stay, but that's just part of the design process. You'll notice from some Buffbunny launches, they will pull an item that they said was launching because the quality is just not there. Like things can still fall off last minute. And we did actually just have one of my favorite pieces fall off recently, but it should be around later this year. I really did want a nice solid performance legging because not a lot of brands are doing good performance leggings in my opinion. I also wanted a sweatshirt, wide leg lounge pants, like just the list goes on. If you feel like there's something missing from my collection, it probably was meant to be there at some point. And like I was saying, there are also things in my collection that either you will see months from now, or even I know a piece of mine is going to be like a year from now. Like you will continue to see some of the pieces that I worked on throughout the next months or even a year from now. Or there are things like the Colorado zip jacket, which when I was out there in Houston last month, I was like, oh guys, what happened to my sweatshirt? And they were like, we're launching it in boyfriend. So if you notice the cuffins on that sweatshirt, that was one of my requests. because I love a good hand pocket. You guys don't always talking about that. That jacket was one of my highly requested items. So if you got the Colorado zip jacket, that was mine, which I'm not mad about it, but I would have liked more colors. Another bummer is that I would have loved to have every single item in every single color because I just love my colors so much. Like my Karma Crop, my Bend and Snap dress, they're only coming in bone and black, and I would have loved to have those in like the Lover Pink, the Lavender Haze, but the launch just would have been too big. Like I was saying before, there are brands that do their leggings in like 8 colors, but they also are probably only launching like 1 or 2 leggings in the launch, so it makes sense that they can have them in all the colors. My launch does have a lot of legging options, so we just get them in fewer colors. But in my review, I will be posting which leggings have which matching sports bra options so that you know what you can pair with what. All right, let's talk a little bit about the color and naming inspiration. If you guys have followed me for a long time, I have been a Swiftie since day one. When people ask what my taste in music is, it's literally just Taylor Swift. So it just made sense to name my pieces after some of my favorite songs. So this color palette is very Lover era. So we have Afterglow Yellow, we have Lover Pink, we have Lavender Haze, which is Midnights. But I have been waiting to name something Lavender Haze since that song came out. And we've been working on this since around the time that Midnights came out. So it makes sense. There's also a little Legally Blonde action in there, the Bend and Snap dress. We were very proud of that name. And a little Powerpuff Girls. We have the blue color, Blue Bubbles, and then the Buttercup sports bra. And as I mentioned before, the launch is called the No Filter Collection. The name originally was thought of because I was talking with the design team and they were like, well, in your reviews, you really have no filter. And then we really were thinking about it, and I really like to show my genuine self, my real life. I'll pop on in these videos in my Instagram stories, like with my skin breaking out, not feeling my best. I'm always trying to post myself in my posed and unposed so that we're not only not always seeing posed images of everyone else, but even not looking at ourselves always in a posed way, because that can really skew how we see ourselves. So we just figured that would really fit with the no filter theme and being a true unfiltered, authentic version of yourself. On to the campaign video, which if I've timed my video correctly, we should be posting this pretty shortly after the campaign video is released. Some of the pieces in my collection and some of the things that we discussed in working with the idea for the launch as well as the designs was that for a large part of my life, I did a lot of ballet. I don't know if you guys knew this about me, but that is kind of how I started my fitness journey. I got into ballet classes at 3 years old, and I did ballet for 15 years of my life, all the way up until college. I was on my college dance team. I dabbled in a couple more styles of dance there. I've since taken a little bit of a break from dance, but I actually found a studio around me with some adult classes, and I am getting back into it. Now that I have more time, now that I'm not in school, I have more time to kind of revisit that old passion of mine, but dance was truly literally my entire life growing up. Some of my closest friends still were my dance friends because we spent just every moment with each other outside of school. So with the creative team, we kind of took this idea of someone like me kind of trying to rekindle that love for dance or for something that you left behind from your childhood. And we brought in real dancers for this, which was so awesome, like real professional dancers. I feel like if you dance, you can be a dancer, you know? But professional dancers, they dance professionally. And honestly, I was super nervous for this because one, they had me bring out my point shoes. I did probably like 7 years of point growing up, but I had not thrown on my point shoes in a while, and my feet have thanked me for that. I no longer have any interest in doing point, but it just made sense for the video. And having to dance with my point shoes on in front of these girls who are literally dancers, I was definitely feeling very self-conscious about that, nervous that they would be judging me, even though they were the sweetest people. Like, they were so nice. They were helping me so much. I had them help me like correct my form because we did not have mirrors around us in the first location. So here I am not having worn point shoes in so many years trying to dance, and I don't even have the feedback of a mirror to correct myself. So there was a portion where they wanted me to kind of improv, and I definitely felt very uncomfortable doing that with all of those eyes on me when I feel like I would have been more confident if I was just by myself. I also was a little bit nervous about this theme because the dance community is definitely very intense, and I never wanted it to seem like anyone was like cosplaying dance. It's obviously a huge pet peeve of people who have actually trained in dancing to see brands just put models in point shoes and actually make them do that when I'm like, their ankles are not ready for that. Like, you don't just throw on point shoes. So I really didn't want anyone to feel like that's what we were doing, but we actually had professional dancers. And I do have 15 years of ballet experience. Like, I'm not inexperienced, but it has been a little while for me. So I really wanted in the video for that to come across like I was getting back into dance, not that I am trying to be like this dancer, because I'm just getting back into it. And the last thing with the campaign video, it definitely had me feeling some imposter syndrome because it definitely felt like they were highlighting me and my life. And when you're living your life, like, I'm just a girl, you know, I'm literally just a person. And it just was so crazy to me that they're like wanting to highlight me and my journey and my career too. We had a scene with me and all my dentist stuff. If you guys didn't know, I'm a dentist. But it was just a big imposter syndrome moment because I'm like, really? You want to highlight me? I don't know. But I had a great time doing the campaign shoot. Anyways, moving on to the timeline of me working on this launch with Buffbunny Collection. So in early July of 2022, Heidi sent me a DM saying, would you like to do an exclusive collaboration with us? No thoughts, just said yes. I honestly never thought this would happen because I assumed that they would only ever ask people who are exclusive with the brand. And if you guys know me and what I do, I review activewear. That is what this channel is built upon. So being exclusive with a brand just doesn't fit in with what I do. But I have worked with Buffbunny for 3 years and I've reviewed every single launch in excruciating detail ever since. And it just meant a lot to me that they would consider collaborating with me. Okay, it's July of 2022, and just a week ago, Heidi reached out and asked if I wanted to do my own collection with Buffbunny. And literally just a few months ago, I was saying how I would love to do a collection with them, but they would never pick me because I am not an exclusive athlete with them. But they reached out and they asked, probably due to all of your comments always requesting a collection with me, but I'm so excited. There's honestly no company that I think would be a better fit for me to do a collaboration with. I know they have good stock. I know they have inclusive sizing. And obviously I always love all of the pieces, so I'm so excited. I just had my first meeting with Heidi and Beverly today, and when you're watching this is probably like 2024. But I just figured I would kind of document the process. So as soon as they mentioned having a collaboration with me, I immediately just started making a list of things that I wanted to see. We'll see what ends up happening. They told me the process is slow, so we'll see. So first I was tasked with coming up with some basic ideas, some colors, taking screenshots of anything that I kind of liked that we could, you know, pull some inspo from. And I have my original notes where I said everything that I wanted. I wanted 6 or 7 inch shorts, that's happening. I said legacy and Rosa pocket leggings, and we kind of took inspiration from that. We have a new take on the legacy leggings, the micro legacy leggings. You'll see all the details in my review. And then we also have the contour pocket flare leggings. So we kind of got a little bit of both of those. I wanted more longer tops, which we do have a longer top option. I wanted more fun bras. I wanted to bring back the Catalina bra, which we did bring back. Built-in bra tanks. I wanted a jacquard set because I loved the OG Buffbunny Martini jacquard, how stretchy that was. And we are bringing one of those back, or in a new way. Here I have my active jacket that I wanted with a mock neck, full zip pockets, thumb holes, and Cuffins fold over hand pockets, which is the Colorado zip jacket. So if you missed that one, it's not too late. I think they still have good stock. I did want some loungewear. I wanted a wrap neck hoodie. Again, we may be seeing some of these pieces at some point. And a couple more things that we ended up incorporating, but that was my initial list. And then mid-July 2022, we had a FaceTime call. I was literally on lunch between seeing patients at school. And this was to discuss initial launch ideas as well as the timeline. And they were pretty right on with it. They were like, it's not happening next year. And honestly, I didn't think that it would. So here we are 2 years later, and it's finally happening. Listen, good things come to those who wait. I can be patient. So this is where we discussed more of the direction, the cohesiveness of the collection, and then we decided to incorporate more feminine, ballet-inspired details. And then they were MIA, working on everything in the background. And then we actually had the Buffbunny holiday party in between this, and I already knew about it at that point, but I couldn't say anything, so I didn't tell a soul. Then February 2023, I flew out to Houston for the first time since, I mean, I've been to Houston before, but the first time for my launch. So I am all packed and ready to go to Houston for the weekend. So this was for overall theme, colors, just kind of working through some of the initial ideas and designs. And again, we had so many items that initially were going to be in the launch at first that things just ended up falling off over time, but they did warn me that it was likely that not all of the pieces would make it. We also selected the initial color palette, and I ended up going back, I don't know, I think it was actually after I got home from the launch, and I was like, guys, I don't think there's enough color. So we ended up changing some of the colors. That's when we added the Bubbles Blue and the Lover Pink, which turned out to be one of my favorite colors. So glad we did that. Then at the very end of the meeting, we were literally done. Heidi all of a sudden brings up accessories. She's like, oh, we didn't talk about accessories. What do you want? And I was like, well, I love my Game Changer tote. Since the moment I got the Game Changer tote, I used it through almost all of dental school. I use it for my travel bag. I use it for work now. And I was like, okay, I really want to bring back the Game Changer tote because literally one of my most worn Buff Bunny pieces because I use it every single day. But sometimes it's just a little bit too big and you want something smaller. And thus the mini Game Changer tote was born. You guys will see more about this in my review, but it's so cute. I have worn this a couple times out. Actually, I've worn this a lot since I got my sample. This is just a sample, but it's literally the cutest little bag. It's also coming in the bone color, which is my preferred color. And they said that they were very impressed that this made it in time for my launch. So we are all so lucky to have mini Game Changer because I love her so much. Shortly later in April 2023, I started getting my first samples, and this is when we started sampling the Rosa Jacquard for the first time. I knew I wanted a Jacquard, but it wasn't until they actually looked at some of the samples and they were like, what about this Jacquard? They found a fabric that basically looked like the bossy print, but it was a Jacquard, which means that the print is knit into the fabric. And I was like, say no more. The bossy print is one of my all-time favorite patterns. It's just such a wearable, but still bold pattern. So they just had me check it for fit, squat proofness. I felt like it was a little tight on the calves and I wanted it to be a little bit softer. So they said, I found out what a soft wash is. I didn't know you could just add a little wash onto the fabric and it makes it stretchier, softer. Next we have July 2023. I got some more samples. I got some samples of the Karma Crops, which is what I'm wearing right now in the short and the long version. And then we also had the video meeting where we named all of the pieces as well as the colors. That was really hard. Like they wanted me to come in with ideas and honestly, I didn't come in with very many ideas. We kind of had to like brainstorm on the spot. And then for the rest of the year, a little bit more samples back and forth. January of this year, so 2024, we started brainstorming ideas for the campaign video. So I got connected with the creative director, Michael, and we did a lot of back and forth on that. And they were very patient with my horrible texting because if you text me on a day that I work, I probably won't reply until the end of the day. So they were very flexible with me. Then February 2024, just a little bit ago, I flew out to Houston again, and this was so we could film the Behind the Designs video. So I got together with Lindsay and Beverly, and Heidi was actually not there. She's just working on wedding stuff. So we filmed our Behind the Designs video, which was so exciting that I finally got to be part of one of those. I also was seeing some of the pieces for the first time, like the true colors of everything, the final fits. So I was just trying on everything. And then we also just filmed some reels, got some content for the launch. That was just like a 1.5 day turnaround time. And then a couple weeks after, in March of 2024, aka like this month, I finally flew out to LA and we had our content shoot. So I feel like I threw people off with this because I was in Houston and then I was in LA and you're like, well, Buff Bunny's not in LA, but we actually shot all of the content for the launch in LA. So day one was all photos. They brought in a bunch of Buff Bunny girls, models, and we did the photos all day, and I loved the background, the setting for this. I think they set up for like 3 hours just figuring out the lighting and all of that. It was actually crazy how much work goes into just the setup, and that was so fun. I got to reconnect with some of my Buff Bunny girlies that I knew, like Amy. I finally got to meet Brooke, and I just feel like the whole shoot was so cute, fun. They brought in a lot of little props to go with the colors. It was all so cute. And then day two was the content day for the campaign video, which we started at 8 a.m. and we finished close to 9 p.m. It was over a 12-hour day, but honestly, it was just so great, so fun. We actually filmed the day kind of in reverse. So we started in the morning with the dancers and we were filming the finale scene of the campaign video. So we had like a spotlight, and this is where I got a little bit nervous because I wish we had started in the studio so I had time to kind of like work through and like correct myself in the mirror and just kind of like warm up a little bit before we just started like dancing. But no, we just got right to it. I threw on my pointe shoes. We warmed up a little bit. We were on a cold concrete floor, so it wasn't exactly like ideal for dancing, but we made it work. And then scene two, where we spent a lot of time, was at this dance studio, which this studio was beautiful. It made me so excited to get back into ballet. But this is where we wore a lot more of the pieces and we're doing some more practicing, and we filmed a lot of shots there, like us in a ballet class, me clearly being more new and back into dance and not quite getting the movements at first, but then kind of working on it and then finally kind of getting it right. Me walking into the studio looking nervous, like things like that. There was a guy there just helping with behind the scenes, and he was just like moving my phone around on a little tripod. It was so helpful. And then the final scene of the day, we were all so tired. This was like 6 o'clock. They rented out a dental office and I brought my white coat, my scrubs, my loupes, and we filmed a couple scenes there as well. One of the videographers at one point was like, oh, are you like an actual dentist? And it was like, yes, I'm not just cosplaying. We're not just cosplaying being a dentist and a dancer today. although kind of a dancer, but it was part of me, you know? And now here we are. I have not seen any of the final photos. I have not seen the campaign video yet. So by the time I post this, it will all be up, but I'm so excited to see all of that and for all of these pieces to come to life. I'm so excited for you guys to try all the pieces, and I hope that you love them as much as I do. Like I said, this is not a review. I'm not reviewing these pieces right now, but the full review is coming. I'm still waiting for everything to come in, but I'm just so excited. Thank you guys all so much for supporting me and allowing this to happen. I am literally 99% sure that this happened because when Buffbunny started doing collaborations with people, you guys just flooded all of their comments saying, we want to collab with Kathryn. And I saw it in the comments of my video, and I think they saw it too, because I feel like shortly after they were getting all those comments, they asked me for the collaboration. So this is really a thanks to you guys. It just shows that you really do have a voice as a consumer, as a customer of these brands. Just ask for what you want, because a good brand, they do listen. So thank you guys so much for watching this little behind the scenes. I probably have even more behind the scenes to show, but it was just so fun. I honestly wish I took more. But thank you guys all so much for being here. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.